Hello, I'm Nicola and I'd like to welcome you to this webinar on attachment. Developing secure relationships between a child or young person and their primary caregiver. The aim is to gain insights into attachment theory, exploring the four main attachment styles and the stages of attachment, aiming to support an understanding in providing a secure attachment with children and young people, whilst developing an awareness of your own attachment style and an appreciation and value of a secure attachment for children and young people. Attachment theory centers around the psychological phenomena that occur when we establish affective bonds with other people. Attachment is an emotional bond or a tie that exists with another person. Attachment provides us with security and closeness. Attachment is the connection made between a child and the primary caregiver, forming the moment the baby is born. It is the primal function to ensure the safety of the newborn and plays a critical role in the child's psychological development and personality. Attachment styles are characterized by the behaviors within a relationship, especially when that relationship is threatened. A secure attachment supports you to feel safe in sharing your feelings openly and to seek support when faced with challenges that may arise within your relationships. An insecure attachment, you tend to become needy or clingy in your closest relationships and may behave in selfish or manipulative ways when feeling vulnerable. Or you may simply shy away from the intimacy of relationships altogether. Attachment plays an important role in human connection. The earliest bonds we form with our caregivers and significant people in our lives guides and shapes the attachments we develop with others, our friends, colleagues, and romantic partners later in life. Attachment is an emotional connection. Babies and young children are hungry for attachment. This is mainly due to their high dependency on us for their caregiving. They are not self-sufficient and are dependent on their caregivers for their survival, their healthy developmental growth, and becoming individuals who thrive and build healthy relationships. The quality of our first relationship determines how we relate to those around us and the way we respond to intimacy throughout our lives. When a child has a healthy attachment, which is one where the child feels confident that their caregivers will respond to their needs when they are, say, hungry, tired, frightened, they develop knowing that their caregiver will respond and meet their needs. They will reassure them and they will comfort them. If a child should experience a separation from their significant caregiver within the first moments of their life, they can develop a tendency for feelings of abandonment, and they may seek to find that missing attachment that they did not experience in their first moments within their future relationships. Providing the child later receives and experiences a stable, secure caregiver, these feelings can be overwritten. Let's take a moment to explore the four main attachment styles. Secure. An infant obtains both comfort and confidence from the presence of their caregivers. Insecure avoidant. An infant avoids connection with the caregiver, and the infant seems not to care about the caregiver's presence, their departure, or their return. Insecure, anxious, ambivalent. An infant's anxiety and uncertainty are evident, as the infant becomes very upset at the separation from their caregiver and both resists and seeks connection on reunion. Disorganized. A type of attachment that is marked by an infant's inconsistent reactions to the caregiver's departure and their return. Secure attachment is the capacity to connect well and securely in relationships with others, whilst also being able to act independently. A secure attachment is characterized by trust and the ability to respond well to being abandoned and to know that they are worthy of love. People with secure attachment styles in childhood tend to develop equally healthy relationships as adults, with mutual respect and dependency without the fear of being alone. They have no difficulty to build relationships and they do not fear abandonment. Insecure avoidant. An infant who experiences a caregiver they feel that cannot remain connected and emotionally does not feel close to them. One who does not meet their physical or emotional needs. They tend to develop an acceptance that they cannot rely on their caregiver and they learn to live with feelings of being unloved and undervalued. Tending not to show or be vulnerable, learning vulnerability to be unsafe. Adults tend to appear to be dismissive and rejective of relationships, seeking an avoidance of intimacy and struggle in developing close relationships. Insecure, anxious, ambivalent. Formed when an infant has no trust in their caregiver to meet their needs. They constantly feel insecure. Signs of this may be seen in the need for the approval of the caregivers constantly, staying alert and watching to make sure they are not abandoned. They have a need for frequent reassurance they will not be abandoned. Adults who have developed this style of attachment in infancy tend to fear their partners do not truly love them. They find it hard to interact as they want to, as they expect more closeness and more connection than they feel they are receiving. Therefore, they tend to be generally more emotionally dependent. Insecure, disorganized. A mix between anxious and avoidant, presenting as erratic behavior. A child who has experienced a caregiver who is inconsistent, the child then learns to live in unsafety and unpredictability. They tend to act in contradictory and inappropriate ways, may be explosive in behaviours, and have a hard time getting along with their caregivers. Their emotions can be out of control and there is no real pattern of attachment for them. Adults with this style tend to feel frustration and rage, not feeling loved and appearing rejecting of a relationship, the one thing they want the most. It's important to remember that however relationships are formed, the brain has capacity for change. In changing how you think and you behave will change how you feel. In identifying your attachment style, you can learn to challenge your insecurities, to develop a more securely attached way of relating to others, to build stronger, healthier, and more fulfilling relationships. The way we attach is formed by how our primary caregivers interacted with us during our childhood. Should a child not receive positive interactions, they can form toxic and/or emotional dependency in adulthood. Understanding how your attachment style shapes and influences your intimate relationships can help you make sense of your own behaviours. In identifying these patterns, this can help you clarify not only what you need in a relationship, it also gives you an understanding of the relationship patterns you are modelling for a child or young person. Take a moment to notice your attachment style. Notice the type of relationships you've made. Or maybe you've struggled to form meaningful connection with others. Maybe ask yourself some questions. What does that mean for you? Your relationships. How do you perceive your partners? How do you respond when faced with intimacy? Understanding your attachment style can offer vital clues and insights into your relationships. Adult caregivers with a secure attachment style are 3 to 4 times more likely for a child to become securely attached to them, enabling the child to also develop a secure attachment style. A child or young person with a secure attachment style will be self-confident, trusting, hopeful, and have the ability to manage conflict. They will respond well to intimacy within relationships and be able to navigate the ups and downs of relationships. Attachment styles can be genetic, meaning they can be passed from generation to generation. With an awareness of an insecure attachment enables the choice of change, and thereby the cycle can be broken. An infant communicates their needs through non-verbal signals such as crying, cooing, and later pointing and smiling. The caregiver reads and interprets these clues and responds in ways to satisfy the child's need for comfort, food, and affection. A secure attachment is formed when the non-verbal communications are returned satisfying the infant's needs. Attachment styles are largely shaped from the connection an infant forms with their primary caregiver within their first year. The attachment is not formed based solely on the level of the caregiver's love or the quality of care an infant receives. Attachment is founded on the non-verbal emotional connection developed between the caregiver and the infant. So how do we meet the needs of a child's physical and psychological needs? In providing them with nourishment, security and safety, to give them brain stimulation, to know that they are feeling held, to receive validation and encouragement, to be reassured. Find connection with them and be caring and firm. Provide them with safety and a security for them to feel secure and know that they can rely on you. Build trust by showing you care. Be consistent. Respond in a way to show that you can hold their needs, comfort and protect them. When the needs are met, the child learns safety. Build trust. The child knows that there is someone who cares for them. Start to build trust by enabling them to be secure in expressing their needs. Be consistent in your behaviours so the child recognises that you, the caregiver, can be relied upon. This models a secure attachment for the child to feel their environment is safe, enabling the child to develop a secure attachment. Validate them and their feelings. Respond to their needs, not their wants. And using loving, appropriate touch, develop good eye contact. Give them reassurance and do not smother them with attention. Be a safe person for them. Show you are there for them and always will be. And give them age-appropriate independence. Secure attachment comes from unconditional acceptance. Children and young people with a secure attachment style are active and interact more confidently with their environment. There is also an emotional harmony between the child or young person and their attachment figure. Adults with a secure attachment style in childhood tend to have equally healthy relationships in adulthood, and they do not have difficulty in building relationship with others. Their relationships have mutual respect and caring, and they do not fear abandonment. Within secure attachment, a child may have challenges with communication, and they may struggle with their emotions. If a child does not feel secure, they are likely to cry, to search out the attachment figure, to follow the attachment figure as they leave, to stare into the place where they last saw the attachment figure. A child or young person needs to know that their caregiver will not let them down, that they are loved, accepted and valued. They need to feel secure to explore their environment with ease and to be sociable with others and to enjoy intimacy without anxiety. Secure attachment is formed when a child or young person feels safe and understood, when we respond to their physical and their emotional needs. A child or young person who experiences confusing, frightening, or inconsistent emotional communication is likely to form an insecure attachment. Remember, you are human and cannot be 100% perfect all of the time and meet all of the child's or young person's needs. In meeting their needs often and consistently, a secure attachment can flourish.